right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks for sticking around for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Suzie in a matter of moments. And give us a call tonight. There you are. 412-575-2600. Suzie, I don't know about you, but that pizza looks amazing. I love Broadway. I love Slice on Broadway. My favorite pizza there is called the Rico. It has the mix of the white sauce, the red sauce, has pepperoni, hot peppers. Slice on Broadway is one of my top 5 favorite pizzas here in Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
have you been there?
I have not, but
you got to go.
I did
it's amazing.
try it the one Friday night that I was in here because I know that Fridays are pizza night here at KDKA.
Yeah, it's a big hit for Pizza Club. Definitely a top 5, top 3, I think, in my opinion, pizza. Got to go out there, Slice on Broadway, get the Rico. It's my favorite pizza. All right. You know, my favorite baseball team is the Pirates. We all know that. Suzie, I have Bucco fever again. Yesterday I said, I swear I was never going to have it again.
We're going to watch again.
But we do have a big question about the Buccos. Is David Bednar. I'm going to get right into it. What do you do with the guy? I know that's our live poll question here tonight. Just scan the right side of your screen there, the QR code. Does tonight's save make you feel better about David Bednar as a closer? I'll tell you, it doesn't me. He gets up there, no outs, walk, home run. He has a 27 ERA. I understand that he got 3 straight outs, but I think it's a mental problem with him. He blew the game yesterday. I mean, it was tied. But didn't give him a chance, didn't get any outs, and lost the game for the Pirates, got the L. But a 27 ERA, I don't know what you have to do to get him straight. Do you move him down, a middle relief guy, a setup guy, or do you just, ride this out, see if he breaks out of it?
I feel like the Pirates have been trying to ride this out for the last year. And the excuse last year was that he was injured during spring training. Well, he's coming off of a spring training where he didn't do very well. He had an entire offseason to get better from last season. So I don't think that that's an excuse anymore. And I think that you're on the right track. I think that it's more a mental game with him right now than anything. You can't use the injury as an excuse this year. Something else needs to be worked on and tweaked for David Bednar to stay the closer for the Pirates.
Yeah, I don't know what I do, Suzie. It's a tough one. I really like David Bednar, and I know we're going to be taking phone calls about it. I'm going to run him back out there, tomorrow or Sunday if the Pirates are in a safe situation again to see what happens. But it's going to be, for me, a very, 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 very short leash. And at that point, if he blows another game, then I'm going to move him into like a 6th inning type setup role. Maybe, low pressure, low leverage. And then at that point, I think maybe the bigger question is if it gets to that point, let's hope it doesn't. Mm-hmm. If it gets to that point, who's your closer? Is it Holderman?
That's the next question. And I don't know where the Pirates lean for that because the bullpen is a problem for the Pirates still going into this season as well. So who do you even move into that role, or who did you set yourself up to put in that role if you don't have Bednar there? I'm not entirely sure. I do think that you can give a small leash to Bednar, a very, very small leash. However, whenever you look at these last 2 games, the first 2 games of the season, the Miami Marlins are not a very good system, a very good organization, and he's already not doing very well against arguably one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. So I think that leash should be even shorter depending on what happens over the next few days.
How about, I'll say it, one of the worst teams in the Major League Baseball. I think their over-under is 61. 61. They're awful. They have a bunch of nobodies hitting, and that's what troubles me even more with David Bednar's 27 ERA is doing it against a lineup like this. All right, I'm anxious to get to the phone calls. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh along with Suzie. This is our Xfinity mobile tweet of the night. This is from Sarah Langs. Slangs on sports, 115 miles per hour, 84.2 miles per hour bat speed, most 115-plus miles per hour batted balls since the start of 2022. John Clark Stanton, 55, and O'Neill Cruz, 33. So, that's some good analysis there. I mean, he really hit the cover of that ball. I mean, I know people joking around about it. Maybe the ball was dented, but that was a rocket, a liner out there to right field just inside that foul pole. Just got over the fence, but it was just a shot. It was on a line. It's nice to see that. It's nice to see that O'Neal Cruz's head is back in the game from yesterday. He gets 2 hits here tonight. He has a batting average of 250, hitless yesterday, but 2 for 4 here tonight.
Yeah, no, and I think that there's no second guessing. We know that O'Neal Cruz, he brings the power. I wish we would see a little more consistency from him at the plate this season. Yesterday was that little bit of a shaky start, however, it's opening day, but today was very promising whenever you look at the Pirates center fielder. All
right, don't forget about our live poll question. Just scan the QR code. It's pretty obvious right now what the viewers think. Does tonight's save make you feel better about David Bednar's? As the closer, 89% of our audience says no. I want to get to Twitter a little bit. I have a couple tweets here that I wanted to read. One is from @RobSchaefer14. He has really good analysis here. He says his fastball is flat, straight, no movement at all. He doesn't locate well at all. When he gets his curveball to drop blown away to righties, it's good, but he doesn't locate it there consistently and hangs it out too often. I'm no expert, but that's what I see. I think that's a good observation. He did lose some velocity, and he's not putting the ball where he wants to, and I think that's critical. And right now, I think he lost some confidence, too.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to that mental game that we're talking about. And once one thing starts to go wrong, you can't expect his pitch mix to come along with it. So I think that you're going to be seeing that everything's off. And I don't think that this is just a problem that we've seen in spring training or from these first 2 games from David Bednar. Something is going on with him, and it's more than whatever injury he had at the start of last season.
Well, a couple more tweets I want to read, and these are interesting ones. @Jedi, Boston Jedi, says he's a one-hit wonder, unfortunately. And then @SingleSource16, Frank, he says he's overhyped. So, do you think that some of these fans out there are right? One-hit wonder, overhyped? I mean, he had more than one good year. Maybe the Pirates, if they had to do it all over again, they maybe might have made a move and traded him at the deadline a year and a half ago.
I think that's hard to say. I don't know. I don't think that he's a one-hit wonder. I feel like there's still something there. He's proved that he can play at the major league level and be successful there. I don't know. I don't want to be the one that says that these fans are right here, right now, especially because the Pirates have invested in him. But I will say this, too. Maybe he is a little overhyped because he is from the Pittsburgh area here. So Pirates fans have backed him up, but now it's time to kind of, put your money where your mouth is. Where's your game that we saw 2 years ago?
So, hey, what you're saying, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you're saying if he was from Indianapolis, he would have been demoted already? Or if he was from Cleveland? Or if he grew up in Florida? They would have moved him to Indianapolis?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think fans were really, really high on him whenever he got here and he had successful seasons. And now that he's not, now you're hearing all the negativity about him and it's just escalating from that.
All right, let's go out to Kirk and Manor. How you doing, Kirk?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Thanks for calling, Captain Kirk. What's up?
Not much. Hey, I just want to tell you, I think it's a very impressive thing that David lowered his ERA from infinity
to 27.
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Kirk. What's troubling for me, and I talked about this a little bit at the start of the show, it's the first couple batters. That's why I think it's a mental thing for him. If he struggles with that first batter, forget about it. You're sweating out that inning. But if he gets that first batter out, I think he's good to go. And you saw it yesterday, and you saw it again today. Walk, home run. And then all of a sudden, you're sweating it out. Luckily, you got a couple groundouts and then a strikeout. And maybe this boosts his confidence and gets him back on track. You saw that kind of at the middle of the year last year where he had a rough start, right? Then he got into a rhythm for a little bit, but then had a rough finish.
Yeah, again, I think that mental game is a large part of why you're seeing that, but maybe you're onto something there. I mean, maybe he just has to go out there, and this is going to be a wild take, but maybe the first 2 batters, he's just nervous, right? And then all of a sudden, something bad happens, a walk, a home run, and he's like, okay, well, it can't get worse than this. However, you saw yesterday, gives up the win. So I don't know what's going on with him. That's something that needs to be figured out for this Pirates team, but I don't know if it continues on this way, if he can continue to be the closer.
All right, Ed at Pitt Yinzer is telling me basically settle down. He said there's 162 games. I get it. I just ride that roller coaster every single game, and it's crazy. He says they play 162. This isn't football. I know, but still, this is the worst team in the majors they're playing right now. That's what's concerning.
Yeah. No, that is what's concerning, and that is exactly why this question here tonight, it does not make me confident with David Bednar moving forward in that role for the Pirates.
And how about this team in general? Before we get to more phone calls, Nick Gonzalez, a guy, that helped in that first game with the home run, how he has a fracture in his left ankle. I'm no doctor, but when you hear fracture, that's got to be longer than you think. They put him on the 10-day injured reserve. He flew back to Pittsburgh to get further analysis. I think it's going to be much longer than 10 days. I mean, I don't know how long he's going to be out, but I think that hurts the Pirates right now when they need bats, and he's one of their better bats. I don't want to see Adam Frazier playing second base every day.
Yeah, and that was the thing going into this season, right, was why pick up Adam Frazier whenever you have people in this system that can play second base as well. A name that came to mind for both you and I earlier this evening was Nick York. Why don't you bring up a prospect that everybody's excited to see? Valdez is in that place of the utility player. They brought him up here today, Emmanuel Valdez, who was also in the Red Sox system. He has more major league time than Nick York, so that was the Pirates' mindset behind bringing him up. But that's definitely going to be an area of contention for the Pirates now, too. I mean, first base still really isn't figured out. They have Andy Rodriguez there. O'Neal Cruz is still fairly new in center field. Shortstop is iffy, and then now you have second base.
Well, I thought IKF played pretty well short here today, and I think you saw flashes from Andy Rodriguez at first. I mean, he's still got to get used to that position. He only played there once in the spring. Started there yesterday and today. You got to get reps, and I'm feeling more comfortable with both of those guys at this position. Don't forget, get involved in the show. Scan the QR code. Does tonight's save make you feel better about David Bednar as the closer? Let's go out to Ed in Monroeville. How you doing, Ed?
Good. Hey, Rich. Hey, Susie. Thanks for taking my call.
Hello.
I just wanted to say that you guys and the fans might be right about Bednar, where maybe he does have something left in the tank, and I think the fans might be right where he doesn't. And what I mean by that is if he stays with the Pirates, he probably doesn't have it. But if he goes to another team where they actually can develop talent and fix things, maybe he can be something. Just wanted to see what you guys think about that.
Yeah, Ed, I know a lot of people are down on, and rightfully so, on the Pirates coaching staff and developmental people. You draft guys and you don't see them, do anything here, and then they get traded away like a Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're a Cy Young type pitcher. We see it all the time, and you would hope that would happen here. The Pirates need to lean on that development side because they can't go out and get free agents for multiple reasons. They can't pay them, and I don't think a lot of free agents want to come here to a losing franchise.
Yeah, I don't know that Bednar clearly isn't developing right with the Pirates. I do think there's that last caller was onto something. If he goes elsewhere, does he do better? You brought up the example of Tyler Glasnow. There are multiple pitchers over the last 10 years where you can use that example. Garrett Cole, Jamison Tyon, Tyler Glasnow. So maybe he does do better elsewhere, but they need to lean on Bednar right now because that is what they have.
All right, Jill Ballmer just tweeted us and said the Pirates need at least a 3-run lead to bring in Bednar, at least 3. That's what they had here today. All right, back out to the phone lines. We got Dan out in Crafton. How you doing, Dan? Dan, you there? Dan
Yeah.
the man, you got to turn that TV down. What's up?
Nothing. I just muted it.
Okay, great. Just what do you got going?
Just the Pirates in general. I'm just upset that they, are going to struggle against the worst teams in the league, and it's not looking good with Bednar as the closer. And,
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what you can be optimistic about. I really don't. O'Neal Cruz, this team may be hovering around 500. Obviously, Paul Skeens is the one that's everyone's going to come out to see, and you blew that game. You can't blow starts with Paul Skeens. Mitch Keller, solid tonight, 6 solid innings. They got a good 1-2 punch right now, and hopefully when Jared Jones comes back healthy, which I'm guessing is going to be sometime close to July, that they're still kind of in it, that they can make a run. But, yeah, I'm not too optimistic because what they did this offseason, which was nothing.
Yeah, no offseason moves from the Pittsburgh Pirates this offseason, and I think we have to look at last year, too. Paul Skeens was somebody to be excited about last year. Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, you name that starting rotation, but I sound like a broken record. That starting rotation is really the only thing to be excited about whenever it comes to this Pirates team, because we saw their defense fall apart yesterday. There's no true bat that you can get excited about. O'Neal Cruz with an absolute missile today, but he's not doing that consistently enough, and that was something that they struggled with last season as well.
But with the starting rotation, you got to get excited with the top two guys.
Yeah,
and then after that, Andrew Haney, Bailey Falter, whatever they're going to do with that fifth start. I mean,
it goes down from there now.
Yeah.
With the Jared Jones out.
All right, let's go out to Tony and Beaver. How you doing, Tony?
Fine. What I'd like to talk to you about is last night's game. You was really enthusiastic about the Pirates, okay?
Who was?
And then you were.
Me?
Yeah.
Did you watch the show? I told you I lost Bucko fever last night.
That's right. You lost Bucko fever. You was willing to sell him for $4.
I was.
Then tonight you started out. You got Bucko fever back.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this is only the second game of the year. I hope the Pirates win. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they're playing the worst team in baseball. Okay. And the other team made 4 errors in the field. They couldn't even field a ground ball. And we almost got beat again tonight.
Tony, look, I'm realistic. I think they're going to be 72 and 90. That's what I picked. I don't think they are a good team. I do like to get excited about some things, and I wish they spent more money. And I wish I felt like this franchise was heading in the right direction, which I don't, because you got a window of Paul Skeens here, and I feel like you're blowing it. That's the way I feel. Yes, I do ride the wave because I am a fan. I grew up a big Pirates fan. I want them to win. I want them to succeed. But I just don't feel like they're going to. So I'm not really optimistic. It is what it is. They won here tonight, so that's a good thing. All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to Ireland Contracting Night, Sports Coverage Walsh, and that is Suzie Cool. And we were talking about the Pirates who hold on for a 4-3 win tonight. And a guy was accusing me of having Bucko fever game 2. I didn't have it yesterday. But, hey, look, I feel like this is the time you have to have Bucko fever, right? You have to have it at the beginning of the year because come April 26th, I'm going to be caught up in the Steelers draft, worrying about who they're going to be playing a quarterback, who's going to be their tackle, and everything else. So they got it. I'm hoping that they do well until Steelers season starts for me, and then OTAs, then training camp, then the season.
Yeah, no, of course, you got a busy schedule coming up, Rich, so I'm not going to fault you for having Bucko fever 2 games in.
I want to have it.
You want to ride the wave.
But here's the thing. The Pirates are a team that everything has to go their way. And usually with a team like that, it doesn't go their way. They have to have everything go their way to be successful. And that's not a successful team.
No, they don't have the right pieces that they need for this team. And again, it goes back to something that we said last year. Who is their consistent hitter? Who can you get excited about in this lineup? Right now, I'm not seeing anyone other than O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, maybe O'Neal Cruz. Thanks a lot, Suzie. Right now, the fans have spoken. 87% aren't comfortable with David Bednar as the closer. Thanks a lot, Suzie. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you tune into KDKA News at some point later on here tonight.